All right. Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday, which means it's time for Wives Wind Down. All right. There's my girl, my special guest. She's already on time. Look at you. Yes. Make sure you request to join, and I'm going to get you in here in just a moment. Hey, ladies. I see y'all coming in. Look at y'all coming on in. Y'all were ready, huh? Y'all like, listen. Somebody told me earlier they already got their popcorn and their wine ready. I was like, well, come through, 𝗪𝗶𝘃𝗲, okay? Because it's time for Wives Wind Down. Say it with me. I hear y'all out there. Wives Wind Down. I'm actually going to try to see if I can get someone who would love to like record a song or a little, little jingle. Because I feel like we need a little jingle. Wouldn't y'all agree? So if y'all know some people, shout them out or DM me, let me know. But yes, welcome to Wives Wind Down. I'm so excited. I'm especially excited for our special guest that's coming on in a little bit. Once she requests to join, I will let you in. So I'll give you just a few minutes. But just if you're new to Wives Wind Down, welcome. We are so glad to have you. Shout out Black Therapy Love. I see you. Okay. And Ebony all the way in New York. I see you. NYC. I see y'all coming in here. If you're new to Wives Wind Down, welcome. We are so glad to have you. And for those of you all who are returning, shout out to y'all because y'all my folk. I appreciate y'all so much. Last week, more than 2,500 people tuned in to last week's episode. Like, incredible. Nothing but God. When I tell y'all God has been moving, like he has been moving. So I appreciate it. All the replays, those who tuned in live, like it is such a blessing. I cannot believe it. We were like just short of 3,000, but you know what? I will take it. So I'm so glad. Hey, y'all, I see y'all coming in here. Yes, new wife here. Yes, new wife. Yes, you better represent. And speaking of new wife, yes, that's exactly why I'm here. Whether you're a new wife or a seasoned wife, my personal mission and vision is to empower and encourage women through life and love real talk. I see you, Ashley. I'm going to let you in just a second. Yes, y'all get ready because we're about to have some real talk. But my mission is to encourage and empower women through life and love real talk. And so this was just another outlet I wanted to create for women, whether you're married and you're maybe thinking like, okay, now I'm married. What do I do? Like, how do I keep my marriage going? Or maybe you're engaged or you're about to be married or you're a new wife. We have some new wives on here. Shout out to y'all. Or even if you're not married and you're like single and you're like, what's this marriage life all about? Like, is this what y'all do? Or if you want to get a better idea about it, this is where it is. Wives Wind Down every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Ching, ching, ching. If you don't have your drink, thanks, Angela. Listen, one day she said my curls are popping, but one day I'm going to tell y'all about how I lost all my curls. Like when I tell y'all lost all of them. A year ago, I had no curl and I have been curly all my life. When I tell y'all I would wet my hair and it would be straight as a ruler, it was a hot mess. But that's a whole other, I'll just have a session for that by itself. But Wives Wind Down, if you don't have your drink, make sure you grab it. Whatever you want to drink, whatever you want to pour in there, feel free if you want to drink water or whatever. But yes, so that's why we're here. So welcome to all the new people and welcome. Again, thank you to everyone. More than 2,500 of you tuned in last week. And so I'm so appreciative. God is moving. And I just want to encourage you all because the next few weeks, like every week already has been like a God moment. And this was just a vision that I had and God is already moving. Like he can still move in COVID. He can still move during this pandemic. And I'm seeing him do that. I mean, things are lining up that I'm like, it's nothing but God. So make sure y'all stay tuned in every week because every week is just amazing. And God is he's just incredible. So that's just my little plug. So yes, let me get my girl in here. Are y'all ready? I hope y'all are. So it's going to be a special one. Says it's waiting. Welcome to all the new people. I see y'all in the comments. Make sure if you have questions, let me know. There she is. Yes.
Oh, Shonda, don't get me started.
Y'all gonna have to pray for us because listen, when we get together,
It's bad. Not
there's
bad.
no telling. So y'all pray for us that we try to keep it together tonight. Because Lord only knows where it can go.
We're going to try to keep it right there.
raise your hand in the comments if you have that friend where like you can just it doesn't take much, but y'all just get each other's jokes and you just once she starts laughing, you start laughing. Like raise your hand if that's you, because this is her right here. Okay. Yes, we are something else, and I'm telling y'all, every week is going to get incredible. I'm so thankful for like some of my fabulous guests will be some of my friends. Some of them will be names that you know. Some of people we won't know, but you're like, I always wonder what life is like. So when I tell y'all, like, stay tuned for just tonight and every night, it's going to be lit. Nothing but God. Yes. So let me get into it. I see you, Tamiko. Hey, girl. Hey. And see, where is that? See, so, okay, I'm going to just be honest. Sometimes I forget who is who with your usernames, guys. So Shorty Red, I see you, girl. I can't remember. I don't know if I know your name in real life, but
Tisha.
Tisha, okay. Hey, Tisha, girl. See, because it's like I know y'all, but
Talisha, not Tisha.
Oh, Talisha. See, look at God. See, we starting already. Sorry, T. Hey, boo. I be trying. Listen, they like, what's your Instagram? Shonda B. White. It's it. Okay, but anyway, I digress. Welcome, Ashley. Before we get started, let me introduce you all to Ashley. Ashley Neal is a nurse by trade and a baker by passion. She recently launched her new business, 𝗂𝘁𝘁 Confections, which I cannot wait to talk about later. Yes. She has been married to her high school sweetheart, Devin, for 4 years, and together they share 3 sons. 3, y'all. 3. Listen, Ashley has to hold it down in her house, okay? It's her and 4 other, basically, boys and a man, like teenage boys. So y'all go on and start the prayer request line, okay? Please. Because she needs all the press she could get. Her hobbies include baking, reading, and all things football. So welcome to Wives Wind Down, Ashley.
Thank you for having me, Shonda. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I'm like, y'all gonna get on here? Yep. Yes, sure. So let's get right into it. And make sure, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining, even though it's Wives Wind Down, but you know, if you're joining, feel free to ask questions throughout and comment. We love to interact and talk with you all. So Ashley, kudos to you because you are an essential worker. And so bravo, hats off to you, because I know personally that you have been, you've been going like, while everybody's talking about quarantine and stuff, you like, quarantine who? You don't know about that life because you're an essential worker. So first of all, I want to just personally and publicly thank you for all that you've been doing. But as an essential worker, like, how has life been for you, especially as a wife and as a mom? Like, how have you been?
So life has been busy. Honestly, not any more than busy. I actually welcome the quarantine because I've gotten a little slowdown with the kids, you know, with the kids being out of school and with sports kind of being on pause right now. As weird as it sounds to say, like, the quarantine has been welcome in my household because my husband works night, you know, Devin works night shift and I'm day shift. So we're always just kind of like going. We see each other maybe 20 minutes in the morning before work and about 20 to 40 minutes in the evening, you know, as he's going into work. So with the quarantine, with everything just kind of being shut down on the weekends, we don't have anything to do. So we've gotten to spend more time together at home and more time together as a family. So I have enjoyed it, to be honest.
Oh, I love that. And that's really great to know too, because, you know, sometimes for those of us who have been quarantined with our spouses, we may feel like, oh, I'm sick of looking at you and I'm just tired of, like, can I quarantine somewhere else or what, you know, some days. But when you think about, in your case, like, you all work in different shifts, like only seeing each other 20 minutes at a time before quarantine, like, I can only imagine. So that's amazing. It really puts things into perspective.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, we still have our times when it's like, listen, I thank the Lord for this house. We just moved into we just bought our first house in September last year. So I thank the Lord because in our period, we were all just kind of right on top of each other. So now we can spread out. So I'm grateful. Like I said, I'm glad for the quarantine because it's allowed us to slow down and do more things together as a family, but we still have our times.
Yeah. Good. If you're new to Wise Wind Down, we keep it 100, okay? We keep it all the way real. So y'all, I'm sure, raise your hand if you can relate, because I know some of y'all can relate. So you and Devin have been together since high school, literally. And for those of you all who don't know, I actually have known Ashley since high school, maybe even before. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
And obviously who you all were then is completely different from who you are now. So like, tell us about that journey, and like, what has been one of your favorite things, or one of the best things that you've seen within yourself and even with Devin, or your relationship, in terms of where you were then and how you all have grown now.
So we met back in the summer of 1999, and so that's like, what are we, like 21? Yeah, so that's like 21 years ago. We've been married for 4, but yeah, we met 21 years ago, and we have really, you think that you know a lot about, you just meet somebody and you think, oh, I'm so in love and all this. And looking back, my 16-year-old self didn't know the first thing about love, and he didn't either. So you just kind of, you're going through the motions of what you think it's supposed to be, and then life happens. A lot of curveballs get thrown, and we just kind of, Devin and I, we were really, for a long time, we were growing in 2 separate directions. And I think that, well, not I think, I know that for the longest time we were really kind of trying to hold on to something that at that time we probably shouldn't have been trying to hold on to. So we, over the years, we have been through a lot of tribulations, a lot of trials, so we have 3 sons. Like I said, we have 3 sons together. My oldest son is my bonus son, but anytime you hear me, I refer to, I have 3 kids, because I do have 3 kids. I didn't birth him, but he is my child. So, that obviously Devin didn't have kids when we met. So, that was one of the things that we went through, when we were younger. I think how old was I when Devin was born? I think I was 18 when little Devin was born. So, just kind of trying to figure that out and navigate that. And you fast forward through these years, and Devin and I have grown in just so many different ways. And I tell people, kind of a few years before we got engaged, we had broken up. So prior to that, our breakups were, we're not together, but we're still together. You know what I mean? It wasn't a clean break. And a few years before we got engaged, it was like a clean break. Like 2 years, we were broken up. There was no back and forth. There was no fooling around. There was nothing. And you could not have told me at that time, back in 2012, that sitting here in 2020, that we would be married, we would be happy. Like, I was done. Like, I was done. We were not going back, just nothing. And I tell people that we really needed that time. When we were broken up, we really needed that time, because I grew in ways, and a lot of it, he grew in ways that I never would have imagined. So we really needed that time apart. And hindsight being 2020, I kind of wish that I had let go before I did, because I feel like that was part of what caused the change, when you really, like people say, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, that's what it's supposed to, it's meant to be. That is so true. It's really true. So I think one of my favorite thing about my husband is seeing the change that he has had, is seeing the growth that he's had, just seeing the man and the husband that he is, and the father that he is. And he's so involved, and, he works a lot of hours. So, we don't get to always have that one-on-one time, but because he's such a driven, like, provider and protector. So he's like, my family needs this. We got to do this, okay, this is the goal that we want. So, okay, I'm going to work my butt off until we can get it, So that's probably one of my favorite things about him, is how he just kind of puts our family first, and how he takes care of us.
I love that. And somebody said, yay for blended families. Yay. And Erica was like, girl, yes. Erica was feeling that. But yes, and I think that's a good point, especially because I feel like a lot of times, I know I was guilty of this, that sometimes we just hold on to stuff just for the sake of holding on, like just because that's what we're used to and because it's comfortable. And I'm always like, comfort and convenience doesn't always equate to love. Like, just because it's something you're used to, just because it feels comfortable, like a lot of times that's where we experience most of our growth, is when we're uncomfortable. And so I'm glad that you two took that time apart, because like they say, I mean, it's an old cliche, but they like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And like you said, you probably don't know if you all would be where you are today if you hadn't taken that break. So I'm so glad you share that, and hopefully it encourages somebody that maybe may be on a break right now with someone and they're like, I don't know if we'll ever get back together. Sometimes you just need that time apart to, and it's not that whole like take time apart and I'm gonna wait on him,
right?
Because I know you were still living your life, but it's about let's take time to grow. And if maybe in a year or two, maybe if we're on this reading the same book and on the same page, then we can reunite.
Because I'm gonna tell you, I mean, when he, you know, because he did that was, and I think that was something that, you know, I love my husband to death, but he was an athlete all through school. So, you know, and those ladies out there that have dated athletes, y'all know that they've got this kind of persona about themselves that, you know, they kind of up here and nobody can touch them. So I think that it kind of took him to see me, you know, in other entanglement.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. I'm like, when is entanglement going to come in tonight?
So I think it took him to see that. And also, you know, when he came back, I was like, I was done. I was, you know, he would call and, you know, so you want to go to the movies? I'm like, no. You know?
Like, I'm entangled, honey. I don't have time. I'm entangled.
He was, you know, he's like, well, I'm gonna come and get the boys. I'm like, okay. He's, you know, well, are you gonna come over? You want to go to eat? I'm like, no, I really don't. So I was fine. You know, I was really, like you said, I had really moved on. It wasn't a thing like I'm sitting and waiting. It was like, you know what? I'm getting older. And I think the older you get, the more sure of yourself you become, you know, and get more comfortable with who you are. So I had accepted the fact, like, you know what, I you know, my parents were married and my sister. And so my family, I grew up with an intact family unit. So that's all that I really knew.
Right.
So the longest time I was fighting for that. And I had really gotten to the point where I was like, you know what, it is what it is. Like, he's a great father still, even when we weren't together. He's always been a phenomenal father. So I'm gonna just take that and run with it. But you know, God plans. So
yeah, he did. You like, listen, if you want me, honey, you're gonna have to untangle this entanglement. Okay. You the way you put that in there, I was like, I knew that's probably the first of 10 instances we're gonna have tonight about the entanglement. Speaking of your parents, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was literally my next question about your parents, because I know.
Y'all, I'm sorry. That's my youngest son is on here.
Wait, where is he?
He real deal Neil, 24.
Real deal Neil. Oh, look at him supporting his mama. Oh,
downstairs. I'm
yes.
sorry.
You better shout him out. Yes. We see all y'all in here. Y'all better. They was laughing at your entanglement too. Listen, if y'all missed that part, just rewind and watch it later, because it was hilarious. But yes. Oh, all right. Now the sun's on there. All right, here we go. Hey.
He'll be fine.
They already know. Yep. They already know. So speaking of your parents, whom I have had the pleasure of meeting, and we'll talk about like your dad stuff, they were such a beautiful, and still are a beautiful example of marriage. And, you know, I always tease you, because I'm like, you got that 2PH. Because, you know, Ashley won't complain about her dad. So I'm like, girl, you got a 2PH. And if for y'all who don't know, a 2PH is a two-parent home, okay?
Two-parent home.
And so for some of us, we didn't have a 2PH, okay? I didn't have a father at home, okay? So Ashley was very fortunate. And so she had these beautiful parents, and they have a beautiful marriage. And how long were they married total?
When my dad passed, they were married for 32 years, almost 33 years. 33 years.
So, and I know a lot of people, one of the quotes that I love is that marriage is the collision of two histories, but you have to create your own history, which is so true. And I know that you all are obviously creating your own history, but like, how much of an influence were they for you and Devin, especially for you growing up? And then like, are there things that you and Devin do today that kind of remind you of your parents' marriage?
So my parents were a huge influence, you know, a big influence on my my blueprint for marriage for the most part. I saw my dad without so much as sitting down and telling me that, okay, this is what you need to look for in a man. This is what you need to look for, because we never had those conversations, but he showed me through his actions, you know, more so than anything, that my dad for 33 years held the same two jobs. He went to work, he still came home, and you know, he helped with things around the house as well. So those are some of the things that I just kind of found myself looking for. And you know, I think that to a certain extent, I think that the saying that a woman looks for her father in a man is true. But I think it's kind of subconscious. I wasn't going out looking for somebody that was just like my dad, but that was one of the things that after me and Devin broke up and we had that time to grow and he had that time to grow, I saw a lot of my dad's ways in him, you know. So I do look for some of those things, and you have to be careful with that though. I think that's what, because when we had our premarital counseling, that was one of the first things that my pastor said to me. He said, Ashley, he is not your dad, you know, and you cannot put that on him. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but I have been guilty of that, you know. He has told me that, and I don't realize it though. You know, I think that it's really a fine line that you have to walk, because you think that it's just like, oh, okay, well, this is what I'm used to. But it's really like, these are the expectations you're putting on me. And that can be kind of intimidating. You know, of course, everybody thinks that their mom or their dad is the greatest, you know, and I'm no different. You know, I think that my dad was the greatest in the world. But when I stop and I look at it from Devin's point of view, I do think that it can be intimidating especially when you have, like my dad passed away, you know, for those that don't know. So my dad passed away in February of 2016, and Devin and I got married in July of 2016. So we were heading in the home stretch of our, you know, wedding planning and everything when my dad kind of unexpectedly passed away. So I think that put even more maybe stress on him, for him to be like, well, she's grieving, you know, she's missing her dad. And I think she kind of expects for me to do everything that he did, and I can't be that. And so he will gently remind me every now and then, like, I'm not your dad. I'm not Mr. Larry. And so I have to take that, and I have to kind of check myself sometimes, like, you know, think about the expectations I'm putting on him. So I say all that to say it's a fine line between what you were raised with, the blueprint you were raised with.
Yes.
To expect in your own marriage. You know, you still have to find your own way. You know, he doesn't do everything my dad did. I don't do everything his mom does, you know. So we just kind of have to find what works for us.
Yeah, I love that, because so many times, like you said, we will think that, oh, that's he's gonna be like my dad or whatever, and it's like, and then that it disappoints you when he doesn't live up to that. But
Right.
when you change the perspective and you're like, you know what, they're two different men in two different roles. I can't expect him to be exactly like my dad. It's like he can have some of those qualities, but to your point, like, that's not the same person. And just giving him that grace, so that, like you said, your expectations aren't like way up here when he's like, but I thought I was just like, you married me for me. So I love that you shared that. And that was actually what I was going into, especially, like, I think when you're with somebody, one of the most difficult things you can go through is like grieving. And God rest your dad soul, because I personally know how great of a man he was and how wonderful of a role model he was. And I think his legacy and his spirit will live on for forever. But how was that for you and Devin, and like having Devin there, and like, and especially I know you were able to get the blessing from your father. Like, how important, how significant was that for you?
So it was huge. Even though we had been together and known each other all that time, just going through that moment it showed I was able to see a whole nother side of his love, you know, in that moment, because he's a football player. He's a man. He's an alpha male. You know, I don't cry. I don't show feelings. I don't this, you know. So for him to just allow me to be vulnerable and just allow me to be upset and allow me to, he just allowed me to have those feelings, and he was there. That meant so much to me. Even if people don't exactly know what to do, and I knew there were times where he didn't really know what to do, he would just try to do something. So we went to the casino, but I don't know how many times, like during that time, because we would be together and he could just tell I was down, and he's like, "You want to go to the boat?" I was like, "Sure, why not?" And,
Auntie. Like somebody's auntie.
right, I know. So, and for some people that doesn't work, but I knew that was his way of, I don't really know what else to do, but I want you to know that I'm here. So,
Yeah.
even I remember we were at my mom's house that night. Well, one of the nights, and we were working on the program for the services, and we were trying to figure out who pallbearers were going to be. And my mom was like, "Oh, well, Devin," and I was like, "Well, I was like, Mom, I don't think so. I don't think he'll be able to deal with that." And I told him the next day. It came up, and he was like, "Yes, I do." So that meant, yeah. So he was a pallbearer at my dad's funeral, and he was just really there for us and showed up for me in ways that he never had before, because we had never been through that. We had so my father-in-law passed away 2 years before my dad passed away, but me and Devin were in a totally different space then. So it was, so I was obviously, I was there for him. I didn't just, because I had my own relationship with his father, so I was there for them. But with me going through it, he just kind of showed up in a way for me that I had never seen before, and that just made me love him even more. So what was the second part of the question?
You answered it. You answered it beautiful. And I love that Radiant said having the space to be vulnerable is incredible. And it is, because you obviously were grieving, during that time, but you also recognize that he was grieving as well, because especially considering how long you've known each other. And then even sometimes probably bringing up like the fact that he lost his father prior to that. And so it's like allowing that space for each other, like, it's such a great point, because even in your grief, you knew that, like, okay, you gave him some grace to say he may not know exactly what to do, but he's trying. And I think that's really admirable, because grief is hard and everybody processes it completely differently. So giving people that space, and especially like you said, with alpha men and men who are just like, I'm rugged, I'm a man, this is
Yeah.
it's like, it's okay for you to grieve, it's okay for you to cry. So I'm so glad that you all allowed each other that space to do that.
And I will say too that that is one of the points that I was gonna make. So we were, like I said, my father passed in February. We got married in July, and that is a lot of change. Devin never lived together before we were married. And all that time. So that's just I have a hard time with change. I struggle with change. So that was just a lot.
That's honest.
And I know that, especially being a healthcare professional, I know that depression manifests itself in different ways, but when you are going through it, you don't always see it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see it. So, my dad passed in February, we got married in July. By October, by the fall, I think that I was like falling apart and I didn't even realize it. And he was like, "Listen, you're going to have to go and get some help, because you are depressed and you are angry and you are mean." And I was, and I didn't realize it. I really didn't realize it until he pointed it out to me, and I was like, I'm not depressed. I know what depression is. I'm just, I'm just tired. I'm just this. And then
I'm a nurse. I know what I'm a medical professional.
Tell me about depression. I tell you about depression. What
Yep.
So when I was able to stop and like really process what he was saying, which was not in the moment, in the moment, I didn't receive what he was saying. When I was able to be by myself and I thought about it, I was like, I am depressed. Mm-hmm. And I was grateful to him for showing that to me, that probably wasn't easy for him to do.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad you mentioned, and thank you for being transparent about that, because I know I can relate to that story, and I'm sure there's so many other women that's tuned in right now and that will watch this who can relate to that. And that's where like true intimacy comes from, when you can have a partner who almost knows you better than you know yourself. and you can be vulnerable with, and you can reach that place, especially like I was talking about last week, as strong Black women, we can take off that cape. We don't have to fake the funk. We can just let our hair down, and our husbands can hold us, and they can wipe our tears, and they can tell us and be honest, like, listen, you acting different. Like, I need you to get help. Because sometimes it takes it. Because like you said, when you're in it, you don't even, you're still just trying to, like, it's like you're drowning, just trying to like come up for water, versus like really taking yourself out of it and say, what would I tell my friend if I saw these symptoms? But he is your best friend, and he's with you 24/7, so he knows you. And so the fact that you was able to receive that, but that he also recognized that within you, like that for me is like what marriage, like that is like, that's why I love marriage. Like I love, because he can see stuff that we won't see. Because even with your girlfriends and all the wives right now, we're like, we good. And on the inside, we're like, I'm breaking down, girl. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it.
Yes, I
cannot. I'm just here, girl. But your husband would be like, you know, you don't have attitude all week. There's something gonna have to change up in there, okay? Now I'm gonna try to help you. And I know we joke about it, but that's just real. It's just real. So I'm so glad you share that. Like, yes, God, like, cause I know somebody needed to hear that. Thank you for that. Speaking of great men, on a little lighter note, switching gears. As we mentioned earlier, Ashley is in the house with 3 teenage boys. One of them just went off to college. So they're on the journey to empty nesters. And there's Devin. So we're talking 4 teenage, almost grown men. Well, boys and guys, y'all get what I'm saying. It's her and 4 others, okay? 5 people, that's a lot. So tell us, like, how is it going, and how do you like manage, how do you find your own like me time and your girl time, as well as like dealing with everything that's going on? Like, how is it like having the talk with them in terms of like the racism and all that stuff? Like, how is it?
So it is, as far as finding me time, it is hard. Like you have to be proactive about it. You have to be intentional about finding me time when you are one woman in a house full of men. And I would so I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm in romper room. Like I love that's one of the things that I'm serious. That's one of the things that I love about my husband so much, is the relationship that he has with the boys. I mean, sometimes I feel like I have 4 kids in here. I'm yelling at him just like I'm yelling at them. I mean, they get throwing things at each other. They throwing pillows. They wrestling. Girl, listen, my mama was over here one night and we were sitting downstairs talking, and Devin and the boys were upstairs, and she just heard this boom, boom, boom. And I just kept talking, and she turned around. What was that? I said, Mom, they up there wrestling. That's what they're fine. Nobody's dead. Just there. So it is. I have to be intentional about finding my time. And a lot of the times, you know, my family is very close knit. So a lot of the times I'll go to my mom's house, or, you know, I'll call Erica, I'll call you, I'll call Robin, you know, and I will find my time. That is one thing that, and I had to learn that, as, you know, as being a mother, as being a wife, I had to learn to find my balance, that it's okay for me to duck away and have my time. You know, there are some days, just being honest, that I will stay gone from sun up to sundown just because I need a break from all of y'all in here. And that's one of the things that I love about having older kids, because with younger kids, you can't do that. You can't just walk out. You can't just leave them for like the whole day.
They're going to call the people on you.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll call somebody on. You'll come home and police will be at your door. Child services will be dragging the kids out of here screaming and crying. But yeah, so they, you know, so I do try to make sure that I find my time with just me. And I try to make sure that my husband gets his guy time too, because we do about our women's time a lot, but I try to make sure that he gets his guy time too. He doesn't do that a lot. So like this weekend, he's going to Vegas. He's never been. He's so excited. Yes, he's leaving on Friday. He's going for the weekend. He's like, I'm super excited for him. And, you know,
Don't wear a mask.
I know he's intentional about wearing his mask. Girl, he does not play. We'll be going somewhere and I forget mine. He's like, you're not going to wear your mask? Like, oh my gosh, let me go get it. But yeah, so he's going, and he's like, well, do you mind if I go? I'm like, no, I don't mind if you go, because Friday I'm kicking the kids out of the house and I'm having a little cousins night with my sister and, you know, 3 of my other cousins. We're gonna have us a little girls night in here. So, you know, it's just finding little ways like that where it's like, yeah, you're gonna have your time because I'm gonna have mine too. Little do you know.
And it's a lot of the ladies, they like, yes, like they need their guy time. Because listen, sometimes, I mean, I don't have any kids, but you know, if Eric takes his guy time, that's extra girl time and me time for me. Like, it's a win-win situation. But he's an introvert, so it's a little harder to get him out. But especially with COVID.
Like, kick him out.
Yes. Brittany says, I sit out in my car hiding often.
Yes. Yeah, I have done that too. I will ride around the neighborhood sometimes. I like turn in the neighborhood and then I'm like, you know, I'm not ready yet. And I just keep riding around.
Listen, whatever you have to do to survive, okay? You got to survive and thrive. One of the things that I love that I feel like is now a part of your self-care and your me time is 𝗂𝗂𝘃𝘁 confections. I'm saying it right? 𝗂𝗂𝘃𝘁 confections. I love alliteration. And I'm so excited. I'm proud of you. Tell everybody about like that, how you birthed that baby, and like, and she's great, y'all. Like the stuff she created. I'm like, I don't know how Ashley's creating these cookies and these cakes. Like, I don't really have a baking bone in me. So I want you to share like how that's become a part of your mommy time and your self-care time, and like how you're really taking this on as like, you know, taking it from dream to reality now.
So I have always loved baking. I've always, you know, been interested in it. Most people say they got their baking from their mom. I got mine from my dad. My mom baked a little bit, but my dad was like the one, you know. So and his mom, my granny, she used to bake. So my dad used to bake, and I just kind of picked that up from him. And I really got into it probably back in 2012. So I will tell you, I will share with y'all, if y'all remember, 2012 is when me and Devin were broken up. So that was therapy for me. That I started going to me and Erica signed up for a class at Michael's. We signed up for a cake decorating class at Michael's, and that was like our weekly therapy. That was our time where we got to get together, we got to laugh, and we got to vent and, you know, cry and talk or just whatever, you know. So that was our time, and I did it, and I was like, this kind of turned out pretty good. I always knew that I liked baking, but I realized when I was in the kitchen, I wasn't thinking about anything else. I wasn't thinking about, what is he doing? What am I doing? You know, what's going on? I'm angry. I'm hurt. I was just kind of in my zone. And I was liking the fruits of my labor. So I kind of put it down for a little bit. And then a few years ago, I picked it up pretty much not really full time, but, you know, kind of like part time. I really kind of started trying to branch out from just doing cakes and cupcakes to, I really like the sugar cookies. So I started doing sugar cookies. They do not bring me as much stress as baking cakes. I still make cakes, but I really, really like to do cookies. That's what I really like to do. So I've always kind of done it on the side, but I wanted a second stream of income, you know, and I'm like, well, how do I make this, you know, legitimate? How do I really kind of get this as some consistent income coming in? Maybe not a consistent dollar amount, but just something extra coming in.
Yeah.
So so before there was 𝗂𝗂𝘃𝘁 confections, there were Sugar Mamas, and my honey came up with my Sugar Mamas name, and we had to get rid of Sugar Mamas because
we had
to get rid of Sugar Mamas.
It was some hackers on Facebook, guys, and you just got to be careful because it's just hackers everywhere. And
about, if you're gonna come up with a business name, like really think about all the ways that name could be taken the wrong way. So
that's a word for somebody.
I got some of the most obscene messages. So just think about that. Just think about that. We changed the name. So
Yes.
𝗂𝘁𝘃𝘁 Confections was birthed. And, so I've really kind of started doing that part-time. Now, it takes up a lot of my free time, if I really do have free time, but
Yes.
it makes me happy, so
Mhm.
I really like that. I launched .com, so 𝗂𝘁𝘃confections.com. You all,
I'm just laughing because I
I
think
see them
everybody's rolling
laughing.
up. The sugar mamas got them hard.
Because I can just imagine. So like whatever you're imagining it times 10 is what it was. It was terrible. It was awful.
But I'm glad that you said that about how, and Erica totally agreed with you, how it got you both through during that
Yeah.
time. And I love that how you said that it was therapy for you, because
Yeah.
a lot of times we think of therapy and we immediately think going to a therapist and talking to someone. But at the same time, there are so many therapeutic methods. Like for my
Yeah.
husband, he feels like working out is his therapy.
Right.
Some people like listen to music, and for you, baking is for a lot of people that's like therapeutic. And I love that you own that and you channeled that energy, because so many times we just limit what therapy can look like versus, making it like, sometimes therapy is just having some type of release and somewhere where you can go, where you can just release whatever inhibitions that you have, or just trying something new or a new hobby. So I'm so glad you spoke to that, because especially for us as women, especially us as Black women, sometimes we just need an outlet, i.e. Wives Wind Down, where we
Yeah.
can just let ourselves go and just have that moment. Okay, cheers, because we're going to toast at the end. Why? Y'all get ready. If you don't have your drinks yet, get your drinks ready. Well, I know I have to ask you this. What was the pettiest argument you ever had?
Listen.
Now, you don't have to go into the full details
No.
and the
So,
stories. Okay.
so because I watched last week, I was prepared for this.
And now I do change my questions up each week, so you never know what's going to come.
I was hoping that you asked me this though, because it's pretty funny.
Petty LaBelle.
I said if she asked me this one, so just to preface for y'all, my husband tells me that I'm the petty queen. Like I wear the petty queen hat, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I'm proud of it.
And he loves you for it.
If you knew who you were marrying, is what I tell him. I get that from my mama. Y'all will not believe it. Y'all that know my mama.
No.
We
ain't gonna talk about Miss Wright. She is not petty, but anyway, continue.
She's gonna watch on Facebook. She's not gonna be happy that I said that, but I get that.
Miss Rachel, your daughter said it, okay? We all know Ashley's petty LaBelle, not you, okay? Continue.
So okay, probably about a month ago, I have I've got 3 boys, 3 teenage boys, and a husband. I grocery shop a lot. I'm also very busy. I work full time. I bake. My mind is all over the place. I'm like scatterbrained a lot of the times. So I go in the grocery store, and if I don't make a list, then who said don't do Miss Rachel? I asked
Alicia. Exactly. You gonna get it, girl.
So if I don't make a list, or if it's not what I'm specifically going into the store for, I forget it. So I went into the store a couple of weeks ago, and I'm buying, the kids have been home. I'm buying like all these groceries. And I'm thinking I'm doing good. Like I bought them stuff to eat for lunch. I bought breakfast food. I bought snacks. I bought my dinner for the whole week. I'd actually planned my meals out for the week, everything. I'm thinking I'm doing good. Well, and I bought maybe like 2 cases of water. So I come home. It was a Sunday afternoon. It's maybe like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the boys get everything unloaded. Devin was home. He went to work later. He goes into work at like 6 o'clock in the evening. Mm-hmm. Well, now mind you, so that's been 3 hours from the time I shopped to the time he went to work. So probably about 10 o'clock that night, he texts me and he's like, "Did you buy any juice from when you were at the store?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." I was like, "I bought water." And I'm like, "You were already in the refrigerator. I didn't buy juice." I was like, "No, I didn't buy juice. I didn't think about it." So I don't know what was going on at work that night. This had to have been misdirected at me because of something that was going on at work. So he just kind of proceeds, not really going off, but you went about everything but juice. You got this, you got your wine in there, but you didn't get juice. And it just kind of escalated and ensued there. That is probably one of the pettiest arguments we have had is about juice.
So basically, the wine you drink tonight, y'all was just arguing about it last week.
No, nothing. You know how many bottles of wine I have been. This is a safe space to get.
Just checking.
That's probably about 3 bottles ago.
I can just imagine, like, so you didn't get no juice? It's like, what are we arguing about?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Well, and so we've only been married 4 years. So I am still learning to let some things go. Well, I didn't let that go.
Oh, okay.
Those of y'all that know me know I didn't let this go.
Well,
so I got in my car and I drove down.
I thought that was okay. So this petty argument went on. Okay, go ahead.
Petty argument went on. And so I'm thankful. Well, I told him the next day, I was like, you ought to be thankful that the stores do not stay open 24 hours, because I was going to go to Walmart and buy like $100 worth of juice and leave it sitting in his car.
No. No.
That is I think that is probably the pettiest argument that we have.
𝗪𝗶𝘃𝗲𝘀.
I wear my
Listen, you wear it proudly, and he loves you all the more for it. And I love asking that question. Yes, I love asking that question just because I never want, especially when you first get married, like petty arguments are just like numerous. I feel like when you first get married, it's like, and I mean first get married, like first few years or so. Like even when you've been married for a long time, me and Eric still have petty arguments. But I like to ask that question because I just want people to know, like, you're going to have some of the dumbest arguments and you'll live to tell it later and you'll laugh about it. But at the same time, it's okay. Somebody said, yes, thank you, quarantine, for keeping Ashley from being extremely petty. Hallelujah. Woo! That's a word right there.
Because I was going to.
We're glad you did.
I look at that bank statement like, what did you go and spend $100 on? Juice. Here you go.
We're glad you didn't.
For you.
Thank God there's more Simply Lemonade and Simply Orange Juice still left on the shelves. Thank you, Jesus.
I was going to clear it out.
Yes.
I was like $3 each. I was going to spend like $200 on juice.
No. Okay, so last question. What is a marriage myth you want to debunk? Or something that you just want to last kind of little before we do our rapid round.
Oh, a marriage myth that I would like to debunk is probably that, and I you know what, Shonda, I have to give it up to you for this because you are the first person that you were the first person that I had ever heard say this, is that the for better and for worse, the for better does not always come first. That is probably the myth that I would like to debunk, is that out of a lot of people that I've talked to, their for better came after their for worse. For us, transparency, it absolutely was. You know, we were going through, Devin was starting a new job, and you know, we were, like I said, I was depressed.
You were grieving.
I was dealing with my father dying. It had only been 2 years since his father died. So, you know, I know that he was still grieving in a sense too, and it was just different for us. It was new. Like I said, we were just living together for the first time, and things were hard. You know, just things were hard. So I think a lot of people kind of go into marriage thinking that, oh, this honeymoon stage, you know, Hollywood has got this honeymoon stage.
You're like, what is that?
What is this honeymoon stage you speak of? Like, am I the only person not experiencing it? And that's why I want to say that, because a lot of women think that they're the only ones that are not experiencing it. And I'm telling you, you're not. You are not, because I'm not saying that we didn't have a honeymoon stage.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Of course.
But do not think that you're the only one if you're not experiencing that right away. You know, if you come back from your honeymoon and you in Afghanistan, you know, it's like a lot of us.
I'm climbing up over mom always, she never liked that song. She was like, why would we sing it? We Christians. We supposed to be, we got faith. We gonna make it. I'm like, well, sometimes you just be climbing up on the rough side of the mountain, Mom.
We still on the rough side, Miss Bill. We
And
climbing.
I'm doing the best that I can.
We didn't say we sliding down it. We climbing.
I'm climbing up, Lord. Okay, let me stop. See? But yeah, I'm so glad you said that though, because, and I'm sure I can kind of remember when we've had these conversations, because like you said, you get in it and you think you're alone. You're like, oh my gosh. And so you don't tell anybody, you don't open up, and then you just kind of like internalize it. And it's like you're going through this whole storm and tornado all by yourself. And then you talk to your girl, she's like, oh girl, yes. And you're like, what? That happened to you too? And it's just liberating because it's normal. It normalizes it.
Because you think that you're the only one going through it, because anybody that has been married, you have been told, and if you engaged, you've been told, marriage, keep your business to yourself. Married folks' business is married folks' business, and that is true. It's true. But I think that you still have to have at least one or two people that you trust, that you can lay it all out on the table with, because you have. Thinking that, if you think that, oh, I can't talk to anybody about anything I'm going through, you have a tendency to think that you're kind of on an island by yourself. Exactly. It's like, okay, well, I know I'm not supposed to talk to anybody else about this, so everybody else seems so happy. Why am I going through this? Were we not meant to be married? Is this, So in our pre-marriage counseling, my pastor's wife, and that made me feel so good. She told me, she said, Ashley, it is going to be days that you ask yourself, why did I do this? She said, because there's been days that I've asked myself that, why did I do this? And I was like, wow, like you're the first lady, and it's okay for me to feel like that. I really did. I was like, it's okay for me to feel like that. She's like, yes, like you're going to ask yourself that. Why did I get married? Like that's part of what you have to fight through. People say, that's why people say marriage is not for the faint of heart, because it's not, it's not, you really have to work at it. It's a conscious decision that you make every day to fight for your marriage.
That's good. That's good. Renita said, you better preach. Well, yeah, you was preaching last week too, Renita. Thank you. And Lily said she 100% agreed. And Radiant said, we need an accountability and encouragement sister. That's right. And that's why we are here for Wives right now. So listen, we got 8 minutes left. So we're going to do this wrap around real quick before we do our toast to, y'all better get y'all's drinks for everybody at home. Get your drinks ready, whether it's water, alkaline water for all you alkaline people, wine, grape juice for the seasoned saints that feel holier than thou, whatever tickles your fancy, okay? All right, here we go. So real quick, toilet paper, over or under?
Under.
Yeah. I don't know if our friendship can last.
Toilet paper is supposed to be under.
I'm glad you have Devin. And make sure y'all answer in the chat too. We want to know what y'all think. Okay. She said under. Toothpaste, squeeze or fold?
Squeeze. Do you fold your toothpaste, Shonda?
No, I squeeze.
Oh.
That's kind of kinky. I squeeze. Sex in the morning, during the day, or at night?
Listen, I'm not a morning person, okay? At night.
I used to be morning. I can't get it together.
Oh, do not bother me in the morning. At least.
Okay. So you at night? I'm
at night.
Okay.
I'm at night.
Are you cool with being in the bathroom with each other or nah?
Yes, I am. I'm more comfortable with it than he is. Like he'll be in the bathroom, I'll just walk in. 'Cause I mean, why not? But I do that to my mom too. I think that's because I'm a nurse. So yeah.
You said it all. Radiant said anytime. I think she's talking about the other question. She said anytime. Well, all right, Radiant. And Shonda said when we can get it in. Well, all right, Shonda. That's a girl Shonda in Memphis.
It's not in the morning for me.
Right. You're like, oh. I was about to say, so I didn't go.
Thank you.
Beach vacation or cold cabin getaway?
Oh, beach vacation.
Okay. Date night at home or night out on the town?
Night out on the town.
Wait, bathroom? Wait a minute. Hold on. They done got me distracted. Jackie, you said bathroom. Yes. Okay. I guess she's saying Listen, this is the thing. I don't like when Eric comes in when I'm in the bathroom, but I guess he just loves me so much he doesn't care. So I have to ask for my privacy, and that's whether it's one or two. And it's just like, baby, can I just, like, I literally have to ask him. And then when he's in there, I don't want to go nowhere near there. Okay. He's like, come on in. I'm like, no.
See, so I am Eric in that situation, and you are Devin. He's like, can you please leave? I'm like, why? Why do I have to leave?
I can't. Who sleeps closest to the door?
He does.
Okay.
I do not.
I think I know the answer to this. Who's the first to apologize?
He is.
But see, you get, as she know, I got number love for Ashley, but we know our friend. We just know her. We know her. We love her.
The bell strikes again. I'm usually not wrong. If I'm wrong, I will apologize. I'm just usually not wrong.
I see some of y'all saying y'all the first to apologize. That's what's up. Okay. And listen, whatever works for your marriage. Okay. Who's the better driver?
I say I am, but you know,
I feel like Devin would not say that.
He would not say that, but he has been pulled over more than me, and he has been in more accidents than me. So I am the better driver.
Thank you.
I'm the better driver.
Okay, last one. Who cooks more?
Listen, if we wait on my baby to cook, we're not gonna eat. Okay, we're not gonna eat. He cook every now and then, but we're gonna starve if we wait on him to cook. I can be very old fashioned, but he can be very old fashioned too. So we, you know, a lot of the things around our house are, you know, we got gender roles, and that's just, I like to cook though, so I give that to him.
Well, clearly, if you baking up Cookielicious confections, you clearly are the best. So Jackie said, I'm Haitian, so I need help apologizing first.
See,
boom. So cultural differences.
Like, I might be part Haitian then, because
you know what?
No, I mean, seriously. Listen, Jackie, who was that? You said Jackie, girl.
Jackie, yep.
I'm here.
Jackie's here in Atlanta. She lives there, and we're gonna get y'all connected offline. So, well, we're gonna have to connect y'all with somebody, because we've got to help both of y'all. So, because then y'all both are like, girl, this is why I don't know about your girl. I don't either. It's like, no, we gotta.
We need somebody to tell us that we need to apologize.
Y'all gonna be like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to apologize. No.
But like, Jackie, girl, don't worry about it. I ain't apologized either.
Right. I think there's always, like, in every relationship, there's always somebody who, and it just balances it. It's all about somebody said it earlier, like, about balance. We were talking about something completely different, but I feel like it's always about balance. So, like, someone's gonna be, you know, the one. There's always, like, someone, you know what I mean? So I get it. Somebody said, y'all are cracking me up. Well, listen, this is what Wives Wind Down is. So we got 2 minutes real quick. What's your toast, Ashley? Thank you again so much for being on, and tell everybody where to follow you first and to learn more about your business, and then what you want to toast to.
Okay, so my social medias, I'm on Facebook at Cookielicious Confections. My Instagram is Cookielicious_confections. And my website is www.cookielicious.confections.com. Yes.
Yes. And what you toasted to?
I am toasting to girl time. I'm toasting to friendship. And I'm toasting to laughs tonight, because that's, you know, that's me and you. That's me and you.
All day. So Lily said her side hurts. And that's what this is for. Yes. And Brittany said, yes, boo.
Yeah, we were tanked tonight. We were all like good behavior tonight.
Yes. Like, y'all don't even, this is refined, because as my shirt says, we a little sophisticated ratchet. Okay?
Yes.
I love your toast, and I toast to that. I double that. I toast to genuine friendships, and I toast to us as women coming together, whether you're a wife, about to be a wife, newly married, or married for a long time. I toast to love and happiness and just self-care. So cheers. Cheers. Ding, ding, ding. I see y'all in the comments. And drink. Eye contact. And all with 41 seconds to spare. So again, I'm Shonda Brown White. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to Ashley for coming on. One of
you.
my fabulous guests. If you missed it, you can catch the replay on my IGTV. I'll be posting that really soon. And you can follow me at @ShondaB White, as well as on my website. You can find out all other projects and things I've done at ShondaBrownWhite.com. Again, I'm so appreciative to you all. Thank you for showing up and for showing out and for interacting and your engagement. I appreciate you all and I love you all. And I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous week. Bye.
Bye.